Okay, so what I've done is I've spent time and I've drawn my little sphere here. It's a hastily drawn sphere. Please forgive me as I'm teaching, so I'm trying to just show this as an example. You can crucify me for my bad no talent hack job later, okay? So what we have here is, I have the sphere. S, P, here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we know that our light source is coming from up here. Light source. And it is going and bouncing off the sphere here. Okay, that area, as I've discussed earlier, is the highlight. Okay, now this area, or the next, besides the highlight, these areas here are called the midtones. Now your midtones are your medium grade shadow. So let's see if we can get that line to stand up over that. Midtones. Can you say that, boys and girls? Okay, so highlight, midtones. This dark area here, again, we're going to try to draw our little line there and get it offset there so we can see it. And this is core shadow. Sounds like someplace evil, don't it? Okay, your core shadow, midtone, highlights. Now, the area back behind here, it's not as dark as the midtones. This is reflected light. Reflected light. Okay, so we midtone, highlight, reflected light, core shadow. We following so far? I know it's complicated. Okay, now the shadow beneath our sphere is being cast by the light source, so it's a cast shadow. We getting this now? Okay, so here's your cast shadow. And your cast shadow will taper out as the direction it goes. So what we do is we've gotten darker here, and then we've gotten lighter this way. Lighten, or light. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is your homework. Okay, now, step one. Step one. Draw a circle. I can't even draw. Yeah, close enough. Circle. Okay, so once we draw our circle, then we're going to work onto it. You remember, use a nice little pencil, draw lightly, and then draw that down, okay? That's what we're going to do. That's going to be our homework. What else do I need to go over this? I'm just using the cross-hatching on this. We'll do another episode here in a couple seconds. I don't know if I feel like it today or not. Depends. If you see me wearing an orange shirt and forgotten a hat. Yeah, look, I do have hair. Okay, I'll do it anyway. Next one will be a stippling. I hate stippling. I hate you people for making me do stippling. But because you want to learn, I'm going to do it for you. Okay, so I'm going to end now. Bye. And then I'm going to do a stippling when I come back. So we'll have 2 parts. All right. Hey, welcome back to part 2. I guess I felt like continuing this. It's because I like y'all. Okay, we're going to do a stippling one. Okay, the stippling actually works with the pen and ink and the spheres real well. What I've done is I've drawn a smaller circle because I don't feel like going mad today. Mad like some of my friends that have already given me grief. Thank you very much, Rhonda. But with the stippling here is I've kind of done a rough outline of the circle. I've outlined roughly where the core shadow goes. I know where my highlight's going to go, and I've made a rough little stipple circle here of where my cast shadow is. Okay? So, again, me personally, I like to start with the core shadow, okay? Because that is the darkest part of the object. And what's nice about it is if you screw up, you know what? It's dark. Who cares? You can just keep going back over it, and you know, even if it turns out black, you just lighten up from that. It's harder to start with the lighter sources because, well, I found out that once you start with the lighter sources, if you go too dark, you can screw it up. You know what? I mean, it happens. So I like to start with the darker areas. You know, I'm putting my weird banana shape in there because that's what a core shadow looks like. It looks like a banana. And I'm just gonna keep plugging my little dots of madness here, and as I approach my highlight, I lighten them up. So there's a little there, but not much. Okay. And there's no easy way to this. I gotta take it back. I don't mind stippling. It does. It looks neat. It looks clear. I've just found that I like lines better. It just works for me. One of my favorite artists in the world, that he was a comic book artist. I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about names or anything? And I don't think it'll hurt because I'm plugging him and I like him. But his name was Vincent Lock, and he did a series of comic books called Deadworld. And absolutely loved the style of artwork that he did. And he uses a lot of cross-hatching, and he's able to evoke emotion out of the cross-hatching. He also does covers for like Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, I just plugged a couple bands. Who knows? Probably will get in trouble for him now. But he does a lot of illustrations and things down that way. I fell in love with his artwork. I loved how it looked. It was real kind of gothic and macabre, and I've emulated him. Some of the other artists that I've grown up with, there's like Frenzetta, and some of the old school 70s artists, and then of course a lot of the comic book arts. The original drawer like Fritz the Cat and stuff like that. Those are some interesting artists, and they come up with different techniques that works. But the line is what I like better because I like what you can do to it. The line seems like a stab. You're stabbing the paper. You're stabbing the heart of the drawing. You're cutting it, you're slashing at it, and I think that's why I like it, because it's violent. So I like the violent part of it. It reminds me of daisies and unicorns. So what I'm doing is circling around my core shadow here, and trying not to touch too much on my reflective light. Like I say, there's a lot of the maddening dots here. And then they keep going and keep going. See, the interesting part about teaching a class on the internet's a little different, because I guess we have to keep it down, keep it short, keep it concise, so you don't have a lot of workshop time. Usually when I teach classes, even the classes I always got, they were usually about an hour to 2 hours long. And the reason is because it takes time to draw. I think I've already covered this. I mentioned that. So a lot of the professors I had growing up, there were some interesting guys, and we got into some weird, heated topics about politics and things like that. Fun little fact for me is I did a lot of night courses, so I had to work and put myself through college and school. See, no, I didn't get a free ride like some of you monkeys. So while I worked night shifts and day shifts to make the money so I can go to college, I ended up usually working, or not working, going to school in the evening times. What I discovered is, at least the college that I went to, is I discovered that apparently little old ladies with absolutely nothing to do in their life also like taking night courses. And a lot of the classes coincide with each other. And so we had a lot of little old ladies in the classes that I needed to do. My artwork is, well, my mother always asks, why can't you do something nice? Because I like the kitty's head ripped off and blood everywhere. To me, that's nice. Isn't it for you? It works for me. Nice is boring. Everyone else does nice. So I don't want to do nice. I can do nice if I have to. I got to do nice 9 to 5. You know what? I do logo design and all the fun stuff like that. As you can see, I keep going and I'm just kind of shading it around. I'm working in little circles. Anyway, where was I? So little old ladies. I had little old ladies in the class. And my favorite one was, I'm pretty sure that the professor I had, he set me up for this one. But we had to go to home and bring home something to do a still life from. And, well, they all came home and they had vases of flowers, and they had like a little candelabra with little pretties on it. Or, oh, a little teacup set, or a little simple stuff like that. I brought in a skull, drew a chalk mark around it, and put candles around it and bones so it looked like we were summoning up some demon from the pit of hell. That was my still life. It was fun. I think I had more fun disturbing the little old ladies. Oh my goodness, oh my. What artwork should do. It should shake you up, make you think. It's all not night and day and stuff like that. It does. You know what? You should think about it. You see something like that, you're trying to put forth somebody's interpretation of an idea or a thought. Okay? Artwork should make you think. Yeah, sometimes it's cliche, like, you know, shock value. That was pure shock value. That's all I was doing it for. But at the same time, it was fun. Some of my favorite artists that are out there, I don't know their names, but they do a lot of... they make you think, you know, a lot of propaganda art, in essence. Never been able to do that. I can talk about what's wrong and stuff like that, but never been really good at focusing it and putting it onto a solid picture. That takes a special type of talent to be an illustrator. Okay, so I've got my coarse shadow, I've got my highlight, I've got my middle grade. I'm going to keep working on this a little more so we can see some of that reflective light. And what I'm going to do now is drop down here, and this one's going to take a long time. But this is going to be my, I forgot what it's called. Oh yeah, this is my, looking at my notes over here, my cast shadow. Yeah, I have notes, so when I stumble across it, I can remember what it's called. I haven't had enough coffee today. Okay, so I could probably easily put another 2 hours of time into this. So, okay, so I'm somewhat back at this point. I literally could spend a lot more time onto this, but for what we're going for, this is fine. Okay, again, we have, I tried a new technique. I don't know, maybe we'll put it at the end of the video, but this, that doesn't work. It's a bad idea. Okay, again, we have our cast shadow. What's that? Highlight. Core shadow. Mid-range. Range. Mid-range or mid-tone. Mid-shadow, it's your middle ground shadow, okay? And then over here we have reflected light, okay? So basically, that's the stippling one. So do one with cross-hatching, like that. Should be done already. And then do one with the stippling, okay? Next time, what I'm going to do is we're going to cover a little more on perspective. We're going to work with blocks, vanishing points, and things like that, because these are things you need to know even to, I mean, they help you draw, but they're still a technique, okay? Knowing what a vanishing point is, knowing what 3-point, 2-point, 1-point perspective is. My dog is falling asleep here. Come here. All right. Here's my poke. So, you know, basically, that's, you know, what we need to do is you need to learn the basics before you can actually start applying them. So I'm probably going to cover that next before we even go into pencil shading and charcoal and all that fun stuff. So, God, that's probably the worst smell I've smelled in a long time. Thank you, dog. Oh, jeez, wow. Okay, go. Alright, that's it. Thank you. See you next time on I forgot what we're called. Oh, yeah. Ugly pug art. Pug art, ugly?
Angry.
Angry pug. Jesus. I quit. I'm done.
See you next week.
See you next week. I wonder. I feel like circus music.